everybody, so this is Haven and I am doing a tutorial series on Maya. We're going to go through this step by step and we're going to see how this works, and I promise you in no time you're going to be creating some pretty cool things in this program. So when we first open it, you're going to be bombarded with some windows. The first one that you'll notice is this output window here. This output window is for nothing more than debugging information. You don't need this up, so go ahead and just click on the minimize button and don't worry about it. The next window you're going to see is called What's New Highlight Settings. That means that any features that are new in the version that we're using now compared to the version we had before, or the other latest version, are going to be highlighted in this green color. We're new to Maya. It doesn't matter what's new for us, so we're going to go ahead and uncheck that. We don't need that on. Also, what you can do is uncheck this Show at Startup Time. You don't need to have this window pop up every time you open it. The same goes true for this one. You can close this or uncheck it so that this does not show up at startup. These are just quick, as you can see, 1-minute startup movies, little tips on getting you started inside of Maya. But we're going to go ahead and close this one as well because we don't need any of those things right now. But it's always nice to know they're there if you do want them. So this is the interface of Maya, and I know that it can get a little bit overwhelming at first, but let's break down what we have here, okay? So the first thing that we have here is this menu sets drop-down menu. You can also see that Maya is filled with hover tips and information. Anything that you hover over is going to give you the name of that tool and a quick little description of what it does. Sometimes this is really good help if you're just trying to find something quickly. If you're exploring, it can help you decide what you want to click on and what you don't. Things like that. But the menu sets here means that it is a set of menus. Right now, the set of menus we're dealing with are polygons. And that means that in this menu bar across the top of the window, all of these are about working with polygons. If you were to go ahead in here and change one of these to a different menu set, you will notice that File to Assets, these menus will remain the same, but Select to the end will change. Sorry, so let me go ahead and click on Animation. And now from Animate down to the end, all deals with animating. These are menus for animating. If you go here and you go to maybe rendering, these all have to do with rendering images and painting and such inside of Maya. So these are our menus, and this is how we can change the set of menus that we have up here. In the polygon one here, this is actually called, next to the polygon, the menu set button, this is called the status line. And for polygons here, actually these are like for open and saving, creating a new scene. You have selection techniques, you have snapping tools, and you have rendering tools as well. So that's what this is for. This is a status line. The next one down we have is called the shelf. And the shelf has a bunch of different tabs as well. And each of these tabs have items, icons here, tools here, items that relate to the shelf that you've chosen. So you can see as you go down here, you have different things to choose from depending on which one of these you picked. And again, this is called the shelf. This main window here is called the viewport, and the viewport also has its own navigation bar or menu sets and tools here. A lot of things that you can click on and use. Over here on this side, this is called the QWERTY toolbox. And QWERTY is QWERTY. And those are, if you look at your keyboard, those are in the upper left corner of your keyboard. Those are the first 6 numbers, QWERTY. And they all mean something, and we'll talk about what they mean later on. But that's what this is, the QWERTY toolbox. Down here we have what's called the quick layout buttons section. So the first one here is this one that we have on opening it. And this is a 3D perspective view. All right. What we have underneath it is a 4 layout, which means we have 3 orthographic views and 1 perspective view. And we can work in any of these 4 windows and it will be affected in all of the other ones. And again, the only difference between these is these are orthographic and this one's perspective. Well, there's a few other differences, but we won't get into that just yet. The third layout that's on my screen here, and there would be more, but I have my screen minimized a little bit to fit inside this viewing area to make resolution for the playback better, is the outliner viewport. So this has an outliner docked inside of it, and the viewport is a 3D perspective view. So that's always good to know. Down here we have what's called the time slider. And this is where you can see your animation being played back. This is stepping through the different keyframes and times of it. This is a rangefinder or a range slider, which means that you can set it to work between frame number 15 and 38, for example, or you can click these boxes and make these shorter, longer, ending and beginning exactly where you want it. I mean, if you have a 300 to 3,000 framed animation and you only want to work on a part of it, this is really nice. You can work on, you could set this to 20. So you can have 20 here, and then you can work on 20 frames at a time. So that's kind of handy. Down here, this window is called the command line. And this will give you things like information for the tools that you're working with and options and things like that. Over here at the end, we do have 2 buttons, which are pretty handy sometimes. One is animation preferences, so if you need to change preferences or set preferences for animation related items, you can come here. And underneath, if you're into scripting, is a script editor. So if you click on that, you get this editor, and there you go. You can create and work on scripts for Maya. Another really important part of this interface that I haven't shown you yet is these 4 buttons in the upper right corner of the status bar. And you'll see that when you hover over these, they tell you what they are. The first one here is called a modeling toolkit, and we'll use this on our models when we're making things. So if you tell you to go to the modeling toolkit, this is where it is. Now watch what happens when I go and I click on what's called the channel box editor. Oh, actually the attribute editor, sorry. You'll see that over here on the side, the modeling toolkit got docked. Also, a tab showed up for the attribute editor. We have another one here called the channel box editor. And now it too has its tab here on the side. This allows you to click between the 3 of these windows easily without fumbling around up here for the buttons. Another thing that we have up here is called the tool settings. And that docks itself on the left side of the viewport window. What's really cool about this is that any kind of tool that you're working on, any particular settings for it that you can change or adjust are going to be located in this window. So almost like tool customization, when you're working with a tool. There are some tools that are pretty tricky and things that you don't expect. And I'm going to tell you this one right off the bat. Things sometimes that you select, like soft selection here, when you check on this and you're working now, even though you're done working with this soft select, you have to turn it off. It doesn't just turn off by itself. It's not like a tool that drops itself. It's continually working until you switch it off yourself. Okay. And something else that's pretty cool is that in Maya, you're going to see a lot of times this type of tear off thing, and that's exactly what it is. It's a tear off. So if you click on this, you'll see that you can tear off that window, and now you can move it around. So if you want to have your tool settings up but you don't want them taking place in your viewport, you can move it off to the side. This is great for people that have two screens, maybe, or two monitors to work with. So this is really handy. When you want to dock it again, do you see how when I move this between these two windows, I get a little bit of a widened space here? So when I get that widened space, I can let go of it, and it docks itself again. To close this, I can hit the X button, or I can re-click the toolbar, the tool settings button up here. These also have tear off, so you can just click on them and drag. Whoops. And there it goes. You can take that out, so that's a floating window as well. And so also you'll see that like when you have these drop down menus, these also have tear outs. So you can click on that and tear that out. And if you go to, let's say, UI elements, here you can tear this out. So now you have the UI elements open only. And this is nice because if you say want to do one of these things, you don't have to go up here, go here, go here, go there, having everything open up for you. You can tear this off and leave it open. And this is really handy for a lot of things. I find that the thing I use it most for is the display and actually here in the window, the outliner. So the outliner, when you click on it, you get an actual pull-out window here, a free-floating window to use. Okay, so let me go ahead and close that one. And I think really that is about it for the actual interface. The next video that we're going to do is manipulating around in the scene, or we'll be manipulating around, doing some navigation. So please subscribe to the channel if you like it. Like the video if you like it. Leave a comment or suggestions if you'd like to as well. And we'll see you at the next session.